Hello and welcome back. In this session, we're going to talk about org-wide defaults. Org-wide defaults set the baseline record access for all your users, and you can set various levels of access. You can also grant users access to records using the role hierarchy. Remember that record access is only opened up, never restricted, and org-wide defaults do not override the user's profile settings. So let's head into Salesforce and let's take a closer look. So here we are in Salesforce, and we're going to head to Setup. Then, in the Quick Find search bar, we're going to type in Sharing. And we can just open up the sharing settings. So remember, org-wide defaults control the baseline of what record access users in your org have. They can be used to lock record access to its most restrictive, and then you can open up record access using other Salesforce features. There are a few levels of access available depending on the object. We have control by parent, private, public read-only, public read-write, public read-write transfer, and a few more which are specific to the objects. From here we have 4 columns. We have the object, we have default internal access, default external access, and grant access using hierarchies. Default internal access refers to your Salesforce users, so the level of access that they have. Default external access refers to external users such as Experience Cloud users, and grant access using hierarchies ties in with role hierarchies, which we are going to cover in detail in the next session. Now this checkbox is only available for custom objects, and it's used to share records based on the role hierarchy. It is always enabled for standard objects. If we click Edit, we can then start changing the org-wide default access levels. And again, we have a couple of options depending on the object that we're looking at. So the 3 main ones that we need to know. Private means that only the record owner and those above them in the role hierarchy, that's if the grant access using hierarchies checkbox is ticked, can view, edit and report on those records. Public read-only means that all users can view and report on these records. Public read-write means all users can view, edit and report on all records if they have access at the object level. There are a couple of other ones that you need to know about. We have public read, write and transfer. Now this is for leads and cases, and it allows users to transfer those records too. We have control by parent, which means that the access level is determined by the user's access to the parent object. Campaigns have the option of public full access, and this means that users can view, edit, transfer and delete campaigns. And then with price books, we have a couple of different ones. We have use, view only and no access. Use means that users can use the price books and add them to opportunities. View only means that users can only view and report on them unless edit permission has been granted for opportunities. And no access means that users cannot see the price books or add them to opportunities. So a key point to remember here is that org-wide defaults do not overrule profile settings. They cannot grant more access than what's defined in the user profile. Record access can only be opened up. It cannot be restricted. And then if we scroll down, we have a few more options. We have the option of enabling standard report visibility. This will allow users to view reports based on the standard report types, meaning that they may see data that they would normally not see depending on the org-wide defaults. Then we have manual user record sharing. This allows users to manually share records, so it grants a really granular way of record sharing. In order to manually share a record, you either need to be the record owner. Above the record owner in the role hierarchy, you have to have the read, edit, delete and transfer permissions for the record, or be a system administrator. And then we have manager groups. Manager groups allow users to share records with their managers as per the user records, and allows users to share records with their managers or manager subordinate groups. So before we move on, let's have a quick recap. Org-wide defaults set the baseline record access for all users. You can set various levels of access, and you can grant users access to records using the role hierarchy. Remember that record access is only opened up, not restricted, and org-wide defaults do not override the user's profile settings.